reached Lesko Free Radio again. And you reached an obnoxious idiot in Washington. I got a show for you today. Listen, you're going to see a watch entrepreneur that gives away designer gifts so he can get $500,000 for his new business. Right, $500,000, how he gets it for free. Hey, you like playing sports? Well, here's how to get free money on the internet to take your sport, what you love doing, to the next level. Or how about free money for teachers to help their students? That's right, for every teacher. You want to tell every teacher you know about this site. Okay, how about 9 weeks of free training? Listen, in 9 weeks, that's for free and no degree, you can make $90,000 a year after you get that training. That's right. That's an incredible thing. Okay, how about there's states that are offering 4-year degrees now for only $10,000? You know, people paying $30,000, $100,000 to go to college. Now for only $10,000, you get from a state school and get a 4-year degree. Plus 3 money programs you never dreamed of asking about. So stay tuned. Watch all this stuff. Well, do you like playing sports? Or maybe you have a passion, to become a race car driver, or a professional golfer, or an archer, or even a boxer, or a volleyball player. Anything to do with activities like that are sports related. Now you could go on the internet and find free money to help you develop to do that. That's right, to take you to the next level of being, living your passion, about something in athletics like that. See, everybody thinks that getting free money on the internet is just for like students or entrepreneurs or people in financial trouble. But no, here's a website just for people who really have passion for some sort of sport and they need financial help to get to the next level. Now that's cool stuff. Where else are you going to find something like this that's open for everybody on the internet? You just have to find this website and figure out how to do it, and it takes no money to do it. And also the money you get from this website, you pay no commissions. This is a non-profit organization. They don't take any money. It just doesn't get better than that. So watch this video. I interview the fella who runs this site. So watch this. Okay, well, Peter Magnus with ThrillPledge.com. Man, if I was a jock, I want your job. But you have such an incredible crowdfunding site for people that are, want to improve, I guess, as a professional athlete or even as someone in the entertainment business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the platform is really geared and designed towards helping to get talent funded, be that an amateur under 11 soccer team or someone trying to get to the next level and get to, they're just one rung below a professional sportsman, and we're helping give them that little push just to achieve their goals.
So if I was playing, like my brother played rugby, in college here, and if he wanted to go in like a famous rugby training camp in the UK or something and needed $5,000 to do that, he could go on your site and raise the money to do that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the idea would be that we would try and put together a sort of very positive campaign that would involve a video that kind of sold the vision of what he was trying to achieve. I think most importantly, you have to sell yourself. So because the crowd are obviously going to have to fall in love with you.
They're investing in you.
Yeah. So it's but then I think if you can provide people with a compelling reason to back you and to support you, and you believe in your talent, then I think anything is possible. I think the idea of going to the crowd to help you get there is a fantastic opportunity to verify that as well.
But it seems like it's such a great site because there's so many sports activities that are not big financial money makers. If you're a professional, you want to be a professional archer or a shooter or whatever, or some kind of volleyball player or something like that, and improve your career in doing these, that your platform really is maybe one of the only places they could go to get funding for something.
A lot of sport is about passion, and the idea behind providing people a platform to showcase that passion is then to enable people that perhaps, maybe it's the guy who lives down the road, and he shares an interest in archery, or he shares, maybe it's someone 2 states over, thinks, wow, this kid it's a niche sport, there's no money in it, he does it for the love of it. And that's an opportunity to provide, people, to give them access to getting involved and to participating and sharing in that passion. That's quite an emotional driver for people, rather than just going down to the bookmakers or whatever. It's actually, you're about, you're giving people an emotional piece of someone's sporting journey.
But also, I mean, most of us, at least in the States, I mean, we go to professional, activity. We're giving money to millionaires. What the hell they need it for?
Well, there is that too, and I think, crowdfunding in sport is perhaps an opportunity to take it, to take something back away from those millionaire owners, and actually connect on a deeper level with something with which you have a great passion about. So.
And it's a chance, I see. I mean, if you were active in a sport like that and needed funding, that you can develop your community through this. So even if you're not successful raising money, you're really successful in understanding more about the community for what you want to do, and maybe even attract another kind of sponsor or something like that. It's a way to get known for your sport, because I'm sure people interested, like if I was a sports agent, I would be looking at your thing every day to see what kind of young people are coming up on the site.
It's absolutely right. I mean, one of the main drivers of crowdfunding is social media. So enabling young athletes and, to actually develop their Twitter profiles, their Facebook pages, build out that fan base, and then connect with that audience, actually proving themselves as, I don't want a marketable commodity. Is very attractive to sponsors. So part of what we offer on the platform, it's not just about getting back, private backing. It's actually about showcasing, one, your talent, and that should be the most important thing. But secondly, what's attractive to a sponsor? Well, if I can prove to a sponsor that, I have this fan base, well, that's quite a compelling argument to get involved. So. Yeah.
I mean, if you went on this thing, you're on Thrill Pledge and got 300 people to kick in $50 a piece for something, man.
Yeah, if I'm sat in Nike HQ and this kid's a 15-year-old, I'm thinking, oh, hold on, maybe we should go and check this boy out or girl out, So yeah.
And it also seems to me, I mean, with all the internet stuff, it's a way to democratize that system in a way, instead of not having to know the brother-in-law of that agent or something to even get known.
Absolutely. I think, particularly with sports that are less well backed, be it at a college level or something, there must be an awful lot of talent out there that's slipping through the cracks because either, they can't afford the trainers, or they can't afford the commute to the training camp or the stadium or the pitch or whatever. They've got to make an hour journey on the bus every day. They can't do that because they've got to go home and look after their brothers and sisters. This kid is a future, world champion or a future Olympic, gold medalist. And he's got to give it up because he can't afford $5,000 to go to a training camp. This is a great opportunity for people out there, a lot of generous people out there who do have a passion for sport.
But whether it's a sports, I mean, I think as a community too, wherever you are in the world, I mean, to help somebody grow as much as they possibly can, is, I think, there's nothing more important to do.
It's an emotional investment. It's you're not getting anything back, financially. So what are you getting back? You want to get something,
Well, when that kid's in the Olympics, hey, I own the you watch him on the telly.
Exactly. You can shout about it to your mates when you're out on the town, but also you can feel good in yourself. You know that 20 years ago you used to love running, throwing the javelin or whatever, and now you're seeing that kid doing it out there on the world stage.
But your site also is for entertainment folks, like this young filmmaker from New Zealand who raised, I don't know, like $2,000. He's almost there. A bunch of money so he could go to and study film school in Chicago, right?
Yeah, so I think he's wanting to broaden his horizons and try and get some new and fresh experiences. And whether it's, you know, him moving on to a bigger stage in the US, or whether he brings those skills back to New Zealand. And you know, that's a benefit to not just himself, but it's a benefit to the wider community for sure.
Especially us if he stays. But more importantly, I think the best part of your site is it's free and you don't even take a commission.
No, that's right. And some people think we're a little bit strange for that, but I think it's you know, we see it as a lost leader for us. So you know, we look at it as a view. We don't want to be taking a commission from a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old kid who's just embarking on their sporting career. We want to help them achieve their goals. We want to help them get over the, you know, to get to the next level. And who knows, further down the road, if they want to come and work with us on a more commercially minded project, or if through working with them we get into their sector or their sport at a different level, at a higher up level, where there is actually, you know, potential to get involved in some revenue making opportunities, then great.
Yeah. Well, so your website's really a nonprofit, and you don't take any commissions like the other crowdfunding sites do. And also, it seems that you also give a lot more personal advice to people trying to do this. And you know, the sports industry and athletes, so you would be a good place than going to some big crowdfunding site who doesn't even know what a javelin is. Yeah. That you guys could speak the language.
Yeah, I think, you know, we try, and I mean, we spend personal time, even if it's not face to face, certainly over Skype. But, you know, if we can meet up in person, we will do. We want to know the people that are going to be on our platform. And, you know, we want to help them. We want to work with them because we want them to put together as good and as quality a project and a campaign as is possible. And they might need our help to do that. We also need our help during the course of that process, and we'd like to be there always to deliver that kind of personal level of care and attention, if you like. So yeah.
Well, I don't hear that a lot on the internet anymore. Everybody just wants to talk by email or don't bother me.
Well, I think, you know, sport's always going to be about people to people, and I think that's, you know, kind of, you know, even as we grow bigger and bigger, I think we're always going to allow for that one-on-one time, and that's, you know, because we want to be different. We want to have a point of difference from other platforms, and you know, we want to develop relationships with people long term as well, not just to kind of, you know, thanks, bang, bye bye. It's, you know, we want to work with people.
No, I've had dates like that. Yeah, right. Thank you very much, Peter. It's been a thrill to work with thrillpledge.com. Oh, that was tacky. But even though you're a .com, you're a nonprofit and there's no commission, and you provide help to people who really want to figure out this crowdfunding thing. So thank you for being there.
Thanks very much for your time. All right.
So, now you can go up the attic and dust off that old bowling ball and see if you can join the professional bowling league. But that's what life is all about. It's really doing things you're passionate about. You know, and that's why the internet is so cool, because now there are sources that are available to anybody to use to get the funding to help you do that. Well, higher education is the name of the game now if you want your career to go anywhere. And there's a great deal coming out. States are starting to offer college degrees. This is 4-year college degrees for only $10,000. Man, what a bargain. And they'll throw in steak knives and everything. But it's really what's going on. I mean, look at this data here. You know, from 2006 to 2011, household income actually went down 7%. That's why you feel tight. You know, everybody's income's going down. However, the cost of a four-year college degree went up 18%. So we all need education, higher education, to improve our income. Income's going down and the education's going up. And here's some interesting data too, if you may not know this. The average cost of a 4-year degree at a private university, this is private, you know, like Harvard and things like that, $130,000 for the 4 years. Okay, at a community college, to go to 2 years at a community college is $7,750. That's in Maryland here. So it varies a little state by state. So, so having 4 years, double $7,700 is a lot more than $10,000. So a 4-year state university degree is $32,000. See? So now you'll be able to get at the state level $10,000, for a 4-year degree. They're figuring that out. They got some programs going on like this down in Miami and various other places in Florida. So Florida states, the state government in Florida is trying this programs, and also Texas. Which doesn't sound like a progressive education state to me. But they're doing these programs. And Wisconsin has something similar too. So you're going to see these things around. So start investigating. All you have to do is Google, $10,000 4-year degree, and you'll see the information about these programs coming up around. And remember that, these for-profit universities like Phoenix, they're charging like $60,000. Now this is just tuition alone. So you could go a 2-year college degree, a 2-year degree, at a community college for like $7,000, and it'll be $30,000, at some place like Phoenix University of Phoenix. So be careful about these for-profit colleges. But more importantly, watch for the $10,000 4-year degree. Okay, now here's a cool guy I want you to meet. His name is Andrew Spinner, and he developed a website called Pick My Class. And it's really to get money to school teachers who teach public school in Canada, actually, and to give them extra money to do stuff for the kids that the school's not paying for. The teacher wants to get $500 to take them all on a trip, or to get iPads, or art equipment, or whatever the heck they want to enhance the education experience. But what's neat about him, this guy's an accountant. He's was an owner of a high-tech company, just sold it, was one of the partners, and he's still a young man. And his mom was a teacher, and he saw that how much she worked and how much extra money she put in for these kids. And see, why Andrew's a hero to me is that what he's doing is he created a website on his own time. So he didn't even invest money in this thing. He just put a time. See, that's what so many things in life are really not about money. They're time. It's particularly with the internet now, time. And we talk about this when you see the interview, how if you do something, like Andrew did, that helps others, and it's a good idea, how you could get other people excited about it. See, and that's what the internet is so good at doing nowadays. So you don't have to go to some fat cat with a cigar and ask them for money, or a bank or whatever. You find other people in the community who believe that this is a good idea too, and they want to help you. It's infectious. People who are passionate about something and want to solve a problem or whatever. That's how these people on Kickstarter and all these fundraising sites get that, because they're passionate. They think it's a great idea, and they find other people that think it's a great idea. So watch this interview, and think yourself about, hey, what can I do in the world that I think the world needs, that I could probably do if I just devote some time. It doesn't take money, it takes time. You have to devote that time to do it. So watch how Andrew did it. Andrew Spinner, you're the founder of Pick My Class, but you knew that. but what's neat, Andrew, is that you did this because of your mother, who's a teacher, and you saw her working so hard for her kids, and even have to take food out of your mouth almost to pay for the stuff she wanted to do in class. So you started a website, a crowdfunding site for her, right? And teachers like that all over Canada.
Isn't it amazing?
That's terrific, man. Who would want a son like you? You're on your way to heaven already. That's wonderful, but it's a wonderful side. I mean, I telling you earlier, I don't think there's anything more important to invest in than education, for young people. And the teachers, I think, are the most underrepresented people in our country, the most important job we have in any country. And so you create a site to help them, give them extra fun to do special things for the kids, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So what was the project? Your mother was one of the first crowdfunders on your site. What was she raising money for?
She was raising money for some art supplies. It was some art supplies. She teaches kindergarten.
Wow.
And there was just so many different things she wanted, types of paper and paints and art smocks, and it was a few $100 worth of things, and it was funded pretty quickly in a few weeks, which was really
so
nice.
In a few weeks. So you're a teacher. Said, boy, I give you another $5,000, $1,000 to take a trip to somewhere, or to get a couple iPads in the classroom or something. They don't have to go through the bureaucracy of the school system, right?
Yeah, and then it was delivered a few weeks later to her class, which was nice.
Wow, no kidding. So they just go and ask Andrew, put it on his site.
If it were that easy.
Yeah, it takes some effort, doesn't it? Yeah, oh shucks. Yeah. Just like learning something, huh? You gotta put some
It
work.
actually is very easy. A teacher just has to go on the site, talk a little bit about their class and their kids, which they find pretty easy to do. And then they post it to us.
But I think more important, it doesn't cost any money to do it, does it?
No, it costs of course it costs the teachers absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And what's really unique about our model is we give 100% of the donations directly to that class.
Really?
We don't take any sort of cut.
You don't take anything? Well, how are you going to keep doing this?
It's purely for the teachers.
Really? Wow.
And the students.
Well, you're a nonprofit, though, right? You're organized as that. And so 100% of the funds, so in other words, everyone running this is a volunteer, I guess, then. If 100% of the funds are going to the teacher, the rest of the organization providing this service are volunteers.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, just doing God's work here, huh?
There's some good people out there.
Yeah. Well, that's just terrific. And you're a nonprofit, so when people in Canada give money, they can they get a tax write-off too, right?
That's right. Once they contribute any amount, they get tax receipts sent directly to them the same day for the amount they contributed.
Now, if I feel, I'm in the States, so if I see and say, oh, that teacher, that's a great thing to do, and if I want to send $100 in, I just can't take a write-off on it, right?
Yeah, not against the...
But I could get the teacher money,
US
right?
Taxes, unfortunately.
So if I'm really have my heart in the right place, I wouldn't care about the tax write-off, right?
That's right. Just a nice benefit.
Wow. So what level of education is it? Is it only young, elementary school or what?
No, it's for public school teachers. So anywhere from K to 12, junior kindergarten to grade 12. So that's the secondary schools, high schools, and everyone in between.
Wow. So and it's only for public schools?
Yes.
I see. Well, that's interesting. That's good because the other people, the parents I see, really kicking in and so much money from rich private school parents, buy the kids whatever the heck they want. So it's the public school kids that need that extra boost, and
That's
you're
right.
doing it for them. How about do you get any flack from elected officials or anything for doing this or not?
Not yet. We're still in our infancy, I would say. We've operated, last year was the first full year, a successful one at that, and we're just looking to keep growing, and as we get more attention and get more projects up, we're kind of just going with the flow.
I hope people, all those teachers, public school teachers in Canada watching this, they got to find out about this, and other people anywhere else who want to support, public school, should come to the site, and it's pickmyclass.org, right? That's what it is.
Pickmyclass.org. Yep.
Pick my class, right? Okay. And Andrew, you're an accountant by trade, right? And
That's
your
right.
company develops apps for education, even.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So you guys are sort of related in the business, but it's a wonderful project, and I really appreciate you're doing this, and I guess it didn't cost you a whole lot to start up this thing, did it?
No, I mean mainly my time and all the efforts, but it took a lot of persistence and a lot of patience along the way. But I was lucky to have some early donors that really believed in what we were trying to do. A lot of family and friends that contributed, and I'm extremely grateful for it. And that's what enabled me to raise money and get the website built. And that was kind of step number one. And now that we're up and going, we're just looking to help as many teachers as we possibly can.
Well, I mean, to me, as you talk like that, what you're saying is that if you're involved in something that you have passion about, you believe is good, not only for yourself, but for others, there are other people will see that and want to help.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you follow what you're passionate about, other people can really gravitate towards it, and it becomes contagious.
And that's what, starting the site, you did that with that philosophy, and then everybody on the site is using the same philosophy, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the projects, the teachers, when they finally see their project posted, they get so excited about it, and then they take to Twitter and Facebook, and they want their friends and family to donate and help out and help their projects. And what's incredible is talking about teachers and how naturally incredible they are as professionals. We had one teacher get her project funded. It was basically for a bunch of books. She called it a book nook. Once we sent the books, they were really excited about it. We thanked the teacher for going through the process, and she did it. She was very easy to work with, and she ended up sending us thank you cards handwritten by the kids for each of the owners.
Wow.
And bookmarks too. It was really
and bookmarks.
And so
wow, what makes you feel better in life than that? Yeah, that's better than a check.
They were so well received by the donors. So just another great example of a teacher going above and beyond.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, actually, I'm going to send you something. Hold on, I'm going to show you.
Sure.
See what you're doing, I think, describe what you're doing. I'm going to send you a superhero cape. See, this is a cape. Because that's what you're doing. You're unselfishly, using your skills and whatever, not only for your own benefit, but to help somebody else, and using technology that's available in the world to do it, and putting your effort into that to make it happen. So thank you for being a superhero, Andrew, and I gotta send a cape off to you because I know you're not getting any money from the site. The teachers are getting everything.
You've got to tell me where I can buy one of those capes.
I'm sending you one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sending you one. Yeah, I had a bunch made for people like you. So, okay, so help Andrew Skimmer, help the teachers in Canada who want to do special things for their kids, and it's pickmyclass.org. Pick my class. Well, thank you again. A pleasure talking.
Thanks so much.
See, now isn't Andrew a hero? Well, I sent him one of my hero capes too, because he is a superhero, and we need more of that in our country. So encourage other people to do that. You can do it now on the internet, and with the crowds and all the people, and find other people like you, and that's what it's about. Just don't sit there and do nothing. Do something. See, even on Andrew's site, you can fail and it doesn't matter because it doesn't cost you any money. Okay, now here's 3 ways to pay for college courses that you never dreamed about. You would never even think of asking about something like this. Now here's a program called Coloradans for Nebraska. These are people in Colorado, that want to go to school in Nebraska, and they got to give you $2,000 because you want to leave the state. Now, how would you ever think of something like that, right? So if you want to Google it, Coloradans, it's hard for me to say that, for Nebraska. And it's $2,000, to go to school in Nebraska. Well, here's an interesting one called the College Fee Waiver Program. And this is for vets and families of vets. So if you're a spouse or a domestic partner or a child of a vet that's been disabled or even deceased from the conflicts we've been involved in, you go to school for free. That's right. At the community colleges in California, there's a tuition waiver, so they don't pay. You don't have to pay for any tuition. So that's College Fee Waiver Program. Now, is there something like that in your state? There may be. Contact your elected official or your local library. You can't find them, just call not 411, it's 311, or I'm sorry, 211. All these 11s get confusing. So 211 if you're looking for local programs like that in your area. Now here's another program too for health professionals. If you're currently a dentist, a dental hygienist, a nurse practitioner, a certified nurse midwife, a physician assistant, or a clinical nurse specialist, California has areas that they need people like that in, and they'll pay $20,000 of your student loans. They'll write you a check like a signing bonus, $20,000 to pay off a student loan. Now that's pretty cool. Okay, that's called the Health Professionals Loan Repayment Program. Health Professionals Loan Repayment Program. And they're like that in some other states too, so check around. That's the one I'm reading you about in California. Health Professionals Loan Repayment Program. See, that's another way to get rid of a lot of this college debt. You know, you go help something that the government needs people for. They say, hey, come here and do this, and we'll pay your college debt. Such a deal. Well, this next interview really taught me something about the web. Actually, this is a fellow, a wonderful man from Switzerland, and he's in the watch business. And what he now is like the first person in the world who's selling a luxury watch on the internet through crowdfunding. Actually, he's starting his business, a luxury watch business, on the internet. These are watches, like $15,000 watches. Well, the luxury market is a growth industry, particularly in bad times even. So this is a growth market. And he's more than just a salesman for expensive watches. I mean, this guy's a craftsman, designer, a lover of fine, design. And you see, even the products that he's giving away through people who don't want to watch but invest in the project are even a T-shirt is designed by some of the best designers in the world, and a little jewelry case he has, or all these other things that he's giving away. Not if you buy a $15,000 watch, but if you just contribute, $100 or whatever to his project, to get him going, because he's raising, like $500,000, $600,000, so he could get this watch manufactured and be a big player in the watch industry, and he has in the past. He's been in the business for about 20 years now, so he knows what he's doing, but he's actually the first person in this snobby kind of business that going in the internet to do it. See, and that's what convinces me that this is where the action has happened. If somebody like this, who actually has the connections to the rich money and all this to do his stuff, sees the advantage of going to the internet and raising money for his venture, man, you're really on something here. And if you don't learn this system, the world is going to pass you by. Because right now it's passing all the other watch people by as he's being successful. And what's interesting, you listen to this interview, that not only getting the money, but getting the attention. Finding people around the globe that love this, even though they're not going to contribute maybe to his funding, but want to distribute the watch, want to be a partner with them or whatever. I mean, it's a wonderful way to get your idea known to the people out there. And that's what's great about the internet and crowdfunding and things like that. So watch this interview. You're going to learn too, just like I did. Well, Oliver Ike, man, you got one of the neatest products I've ever seen on Kickstarter.
Thank you so
and it's
much.
Gorgeous. But actually, what I love about your Kickstarter site, you're giving out, gifts that are more fascinating than your watch at times. Where'd you get these wonderful designers to design all this for you?
But it's current with the line of our company that we want to really have like the best craftsmanship, and so we were thinking about products in a low price category because not everybody can afford, as I said, $5,000 of a watch. And so, I mean, of course, it's how to market it, and the people, of course, they want to have the watch.
Right.
So they want to have the watch. Some people, well, they buy a T-shirt, a tote bag, but they really want to. They're on there for the watch.
Well, that's getting them closer, right?
Yeah.
Closer to the watch. But the watch is gorgeous, and as I talked earlier about,
the band, your watch's band, the band on that watch seems like a separate piece of jewelry than the watch even.
Yeah, but the band has a fine regulation mechanism for both for the metal strap and for the leather for the metal bracelet and the leather strap. And you have also a way how you can basically you can exchange the band within a click and change it to the leather strap, which is really good because if you want to like as a dress watch use it. In the morning you can go with a metal strap, in the evening you can go with an orange leather strap.
Well, so tell us about a little bit about your background. You've been in the watch business for a long time in Northern Europe, right?
Yeah, I've been having a brand already 13 years ago. I started it was called Ikepod. It was like a down under guy, an Australian guy, a model squatter, whatever you call him, a really crazy guy. I found I loved his design, and then we started to have that company, and this basically got me, let's say, into the business. And then once you are addicted to it, it's like a drug. You know, when you do watches, you can't think doing anything else in your life anymore, you know?
Well, it's wonderful to have a passion. But what made it, so this is a new product really you're coming out, a new brand that you're starting on Kickstarter. So what made you think about, hey, you know, I mean, you've been in the business, you know all the fat cats will give you money for this. Why'd you choose Kickstarter?
Well, I think it's difficult to find good partners, and I think the Kickstarter was like an experiment for me as well to get feedback on the new watch itself. And then in the end, you think, okay, the company is still 100% yourself. If you give it up too early, the thing is, in the watch business, if you, let's say, there's another guy called Richard Mille. He's got very famous with his watches. He started like 12 years ago, and they're saying now that he's sold his company for a whooping 350 million after 12 years.
Wow.
And so, you know, if you do things right, the value of the brand increases exponentially. So it's stupid at this point of time to sell a majority stake or even sell a bigger stake in your company, because I know, though, how much money I need to produce watches, so I'm not looking for $100,000 because it will not be sufficient, you know. And so, I think Kickstarter is a good way to start to be visible, and eventually as well to find partners for the future. We'll see.
Well, I mean, but you're almost a third of the way there, and you got some more time to go, right? You're a couple 100,000 already with this. And it looks like you're going to make it if you got enough watches on hand for everybody. Right?
Well, I think I'm still hoping that we'll make it, or I'm sure we're going to make it one way or the other. But I mean, the thing is to animate the campaign. That's the most difficult part in a crowdfunding thing, because you constantly have to. Well, the people who are already on there, they will not cancel the pledges, but they can cancel the pledges. And in the beginning, we had some people. They were canceling the pledges, and then you feel insecure. It's like a knife turning into your stomach. They say, okay, this guy is putting 10,000, and he's putting 2 days later, he's taking it off, you know?
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, but
he doesn't love me anymore.
No, then you, well, what did I do wrong? Did I communicate something wrong to him? But then I learned that you just have to take it easy, and there are always people like this.
Yeah.
But the real hardcore of the people who want to have the watch, they really want to have the watch, and they probably also try to promote among their friends and stuff. I really had an amazing backer, a guy from New York, what is it? He's working for I don't want to mention the name of the bank, but he's working for a big bank. And he came all the way to Switzerland to see me, you know. Really? Made a pledge and he even gave me ideas how to do a limited special edition for the Indian market.
I see.
Absolutely marvelous guy, you know. And this really gives you fantastic feeling to. I would never have met him if not on Kickstarter. You know.
So your Kickstarter campaign not only got you customers and going to get you money to start production, but brought you contacts in the industry, and it sounds like a lot of buzz about your watch now. You're the first big high-end watch on Kickstarter and create money like this. So everybody's excited about you.
I mean, I've used I've built out my LinkedIn network a lot through this campaign, and the people in the industry now. I'm connected with all the watchmakers. Which are in America, for instance, and also in Europe, all the most specialized watchmakers, because I think it's really great to get their opinion also on the future product. You know, I'd like to build like a forum, a forum on our site where really which will become something important where people will go and to look
exchange
for references
ideas and stuff like that. I see. So you could be the portal for watchmaking in the world, right?
whatever.
So people want to get in and by the way, I mean, you want to get one of these watches now, because when the Kickstarter campaign is over, then they get pretty expensive for these people, right?
Yeah, but they pay 3 times more. So I mean, they better buy them now.
Yeah. So buy now, buy often, and you go to manzoni.com, right? And then you could link to the Kickstarter page.
Exactly. Then you just press the green button, and then you're on the Kickstarter page. And then you have to register at Kickstarter and Amazon if you don't have an account.
Right.
That's it's a little bit a difficult procedure, but the people in America, they will understand.
Yeah,
they will
we know about that in America. We know how to spend money any way we want. Yeah.
Okay.
But tell me one thing I always wondered about watches, and I see it on your side. Why are all the hands at 10 after 10?
Well, 10 after 10, this is just like when you photograph a watch. I don't know why, but somebody years ago said, okay, if you have to photograph a watch, you always have to have the hands on 10 after 10. Now everybody in every catalog you see, it's always 10. You're right. It's weird. But this is like, if you do it a different way, I mean, the people, they are in the magazines, they complain. They say, no, you have to do it like this.
Bureaucrats, even in the big design world, the bureaucrats. Well, Oliver, you're a delight to talk with, and it's so nice to find someone who's got that energy to sell a wonderful watch like this on Kickstarter, and to bring the craftsmanship and the design feature that is even, I think, we miss so much. Well, we don't know. In America, we have to learn more to be like you are. So thank you for educating us all.
Well, thank you for having me with you. I mean, I really enjoyed the interview, and I hope I'll be on your show again in the future.
I'm going to be here 30 more years. I don't know about you.
Okay, perfect. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the best. Huh?
See, and the best thing about his crowdfunding, you get that $15,000 watch for only $5,000. Buy that, and they'll throw in a set of knives or whatever. But it's fun. I mean, there's so many interesting and fun things going out there in a whole new world. And he's somebody who's grabbing it right by the tail and hanging on and using the heck out of it for his idea. So why don't you do that too? Okay, now I want you to meet a recent graduate from the App Academy. Never heard of it? Well, I didn't either until a little while ago. Now, this is a place where you could go to learn computer programming, web development, or whatever, and it only takes 9 weeks. You'll work like heck for 9 weeks, like 80 hours a week or more. But you don't need a college degree. You just need sort of like an aptitude for computers, and they qualify you in the beginning, and it costs you nothing. Okay, so it's free training until you get a job. See, once you get a job, then you pay. Now, after 9 weeks of training, though, you get a job making like $90,000. That's what the starters get. This is why there's so much demand now for people who know how to, computer program or make it, applications, because they need web developers so badly in this country. It's like healthcare.
being a nurse. You could go about 2 years and make 50 grand. Well, here you could go for 9 weeks and make like $100,000, and they'll pay for the education for you. And actually what it does is you get it out of the salary. So once you get a job, you don't pay until you get a job, but once you get a job, then they get like 18% of what you make. Wow. I mean, you can't beat that, right? If you never got a job, then it costs you nothing. You got all that talent. And they have an office in one in New York City and one in San Francisco, and every week they're starting new classes. Okay, so it sounds like a wonderful opportunity. If you have a knack for computer programming or whatever, check it out. App Academy. More importantly, watch this film. Now I interview. He's a graduate, making over that now. That $90,000. But he used to be a gambler from Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and he was a professional gambler for many years, 5, 8, 9 years or whatever, until the government shut down all these gambling sites and he couldn't make enough money. But you hear his story and how he failed at first, and it took him a couple of years to learn how to make money online, even playing poker. And then he started like working 24 hours a day trying to figure this out. It took him months and months and months until he made any money at all. And then another year before he was just making minimum wage, and then he's making tons of dough. And he was on his holiday for his honeymoon, and the government shut everybody down. So he had to tell his wife on his honeymoon, "Honey, we have no money." So he came back, started a company. That didn't go well. And then he found this App Academy, went to there, and now he's doing terrific. Working at home, being an app developer. 9 weeks, and you're making $100,000 a year. Watch this. Well, Chris Fields, man, you were a professional gambler making all this money, and you gave it up for a love of making apps now, right? But more importantly, I mean, you're one of the first graduates from this App Academy where you go for 9 weeks, you learn how to make applications, you don't need an engineering degree or anything, and they train you so you can get a job for $90,000. And the way you pay for the school is they just take what is the first 18% of your salary for a year or something like that?
Yeah, I believe that is what they're doing right now. They actually had a slightly different model when we joined. Actually, our inaugural class got a complete pass on paying anything.
Wow! It really was free!
It was, yeah. I think we were the guinea pigs for their class. They were working out the kinks, so they didn't charge us. They only got paid if we happened to get a job at one of the companies they had partnerships with.
I see.
Which, as far as I know, only I think 1 or 2 students did. So they didn't make a lot their first couple months.
Yeah, wow. So, but basically their model is you attend their school, and they have a venting process, right? So not everybody who applies gets in. You have to have some aptitude for this, but you don't need a degree. They train you like hell. You work like hell for 6 weeks, right?
Yes.
And then when you graduate, you either get a job for most people graduate, get a job for 90 grand a year, and then they take like the 18% of the first year's salary or something like that. Yeah, well, that's cool. I mean, you could pay like $13,000 up front if you want.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you're planning on doing your own business, then I think they charge you 12 or 13 out of your own pocket. Obviously, you're not going to get a job, so.
But here's a great way for people, if they're interested in becoming a computer programmer, and actually probably no matter what age, you just have talent, try to get in here because you don't have to worry about paying for anything, and you get a great job after 9 weeks. Where else are you going to get a job for 90 grand a year, man?
Yeah, it definitely is an amazing once-in-a-lifetime opportunity if you can get in, and it's definitely worth applying if you think you have the aptitude and the desire to do it.
And now I see they have 2 places, San Francisco and New York, and they're starting new classes every week.
Yeah, they're growing really quick.
Yeah, so and that's because you said because of demand?
Yeah, the demand for developers is definitely a lot higher than the supply right now. So, which is why you can get such a high salary after only 9 weeks of
9 weeks of training. Maybe they'll have brain surgery like that. 9 weeks, become a brain surgeon.
Yeah, I also hope that the demand for brain surgeons isn't that high that everyone's needing brain surgery.
It's how the demand. I mean, to me, the other neat option to me was always, boy, I know you could go to community college for 2 years, become a nurse, and make like 50 grand, at least in the Washington D.C. area, which is great. So here you go for 9 weeks and make 100 grand and get it paid for too. Wow. I mean, that's just one of the most incredible deals I think America has.
It really is. It's an amazing opportunity. Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about how you went from a professional gambler, or how you became a professional gambler, and then had to give it all up. I mean, that's a cool story.
Yeah, so I mean, that happened a while ago when I became 10 years ago. I watched the movie Rounders.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, that looks fun. I wonder if I can find somewhere online to do that. And I found somewhere that let you play for free. So I didn't have any money. So I just found somewhere that played for free. And they had these tournaments called free rolls where if you won, they'd give you like $10. I won a couple of those. I took the money and I started playing at the real tables. And I just grinded it out until I started to make a really good salary.
Now, this is all online. You were playing like poker online?
And then eventually I started to go around the world to play at big tournaments, but most of my play was online.
Wow. And even now, you said then it came to a time where the IRS didn't want the government, or didn't want Americans to play in this stuff anymore, right?
Yeah, the Department of Justice had the FBI seize the domain names of the top 3 poker sites that offered poker to the U.S. players, which basically held our money hostage for a while.
Wow.
And if you happen to play at PokerStars, you got your money back. Actually, from the other 2, you still haven't got your money back, even though it's years later.
And this happened.
When did you find out about this? Where were you?
I was on my honeymoon.
And you had to tell your new wife what when you found that out?
I told my wife that we didn't have any money anymore. Basically, all our money was frozen.
The government! Well, that's terrific. So now, you came back and you started your own business, right?
Yeah. So I decided to try to do my own business for a while, which was developing. I taught myself a little bit of Python, basically what I needed to build the site as opposed to learning the more fundamentals of it. But there were so many pitfalls, and I was hitting them all. And I was going into debt to my family. So after a while, I was fairly far in debt, and then we found out that my wife was pregnant. And that was a pretty big turning point. I decided to give it maybe another month or 2, and if I couldn't turn the business around, I needed to find something else because I didn't want to be unemployed when my son was born. And that's when my brother emailed me about something similar to the App Academy, and I did some research and I found the App Academy, and that one seemed like a great fit for me. So I applied and got in.
Wow, that's and it was free. And if you took a normal job, you're making $90,000 a year. So I imagine you're making more now because you don't you didn't take the job. But that's just a remarkable story, and how your resourcefulness to me, and also finding these opportunities just by being inquisitive and looking around and applying. And the important thing about your lesson too, I think, is that how that business failed, and so it didn't stop you. You just kept going, right?
Yeah, you got to take risks in life, and maybe more often than not, they don't pan out the way you expect. But if you keep going, eventually a couple of them you hit home runs, right?
And to me, I feel it's usually by accident, But it's not going to happen unless you keep trying. That's it. You get a little bit, and I guess like in poker, how long did it take you before you started making money at poker?
It took about 3 months. Then I was making maybe a quarter an hour.
And that's working 24 hours a day, right?
I was working, pretty much every hour, every waking hour. I was making 25 cents an hour. But another 3 months later, I was making, minimum wage. 3 months after that, I was making like 30 an hour, and I just kept going until I was making a couple hundred an hour.
Wow. Well, see, so you taught yourself. So, but it's harder to do that in the States now, right?
To play poker.
Yeah.
It's really hard now. I mean, the game is much harder because a lot of people started to learn how to do it well. There's actually online courses to learn how to play poker. And so it just brought the level of play way up. And then now got really hard to play online because of various interventions by the government, that the only people that were willing to play were really good players.
I see. So there weren't a lot of sitting ducks out there anymore.
It was sharks playing against sharks after a while.
And that's dangerous waters. So what would your advice be to someone, hey, you know, what kind of principles do you live by that, you know, even after you fail and stuff like that, that you keep finding a way to come back even better?
It's all about being a resilient person, right? You have to be willing to dust yourself off, get back up on the horse, and try again.
Just keep going. Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, it's surprising that you could find a place, you know, with no background in programming or engineering or any of those degrees, and find out how to get a job after 6 or 9 weeks for $90,000. Right. Well, good for you. It's an exciting story, and you're a wonderful person, and that little child you showed me earlier, looks he's going to have a lot to learn from Papa now.
So, hope I teach him well.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Chris, for sharing all this with us. Well, Chris, we forgot to tell people about your app, and it's free. People go to the App Store, right, and get your app called Trifacta, and that's a free app, right?
Correct.
And what's it like? What's the game?
It's a game. It's really similar to Bejeweled or Candy Crush. Something that somebody that I went through the App Academy with, her and I built together in a couple weeks right after that, and put it in the App Store.
So it'd be good for people to, you know, see how good, you know, what you can become in just 9 weeks going to App Academy. Go to the App Store and get Trifecta and download Trifecta, and you'll see what you could be doing in 9 weeks, and also be making $90,000 a year too.
Exactly.
Or in other places, your website is rndklabs.com, right? And that's how to find you, right? Well, more app developers are going to be looking for you to help them do their apps.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See, there's all kind of opportunities in America. You got to keep digging, keep trying, and you hear from him. The name of the game is you keep trying. Nobody knows the answer, and the answer is really different for all of us. But the most important thing is that when you fall, you get your butt up again, and you just try something else. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try. And look at that, you go to school for free.